Hi, I'm with Robert.
Sheehan face.
Sheehan face, you said?
Yeah.
That's that the new...
That's my full name.
Oh,
I dropped the face just to make it simpler for all the teenagers.
What's the biggest lesson you learned from being a part of the show and from being Nathan?
Don't be ashamed to fuck around and be childish. People are in a hurry to grow up, and that's the biggest shame of all, I think. You know, don't be afraid to be silly. That was genuinely something that I took away from the show. And as you can see, I perpetuate that belief in everyday life. Dicking around. Having a laugh. It's great fun.
What's the best language you've heard yourself dubbed in?
I heard myself dubbed in Spanish once. And, you know, the language obviously is beautiful and sexy to listen to, but it was also, the guy's voice was really deep. The guy was like, oh, hola. He sounded like the narrator from Pan's Labyrinth.
So I've seen you play in Cherry Bomb, by Riding, and obviously Misfits.
Oh yeah.
What's the role that you're most fond of to date?
There's an Irish TV show that I did called Love Hate, and it holds a very special place, I suppose, in my heart because the show was so successful in Ireland. You know, it became this incredibly culturally relevant thing. You know, every Sunday night in Ireland, people were gathered around their televisions watching, like millions of people in Ireland, which is most of the people.
You have a new film out. It's called A Need to Be. Would you be kind to tell me about it, please?
A Need to Be is a story of a young woman who escapes at the end of the Second World War and goes to live with the only family that she has left in newly formed Czechoslovakia. And she quickly realizes that to some extent Jewish people have exchanged one tyranny for another. The kind of backdrop of the story is the borders of the countries of Europe reshifting and you know, various different races and sects of people being suspicious and hateful of each other.
Obviously, your character is a lead role alongside Eileen. Could you explain to me what drives him? What's going on there?
He's a kind of a arrogant young gentleman who I think charms our protagonist Anita into a relationship, and I think kind of exploits her innocence to some extent, and through kind of clumsy seduction manages to get into her pants, both proverbially and literally. And so we you know, and then kind of tries to force her to do abhorrent things, and you know, we realize it's because he has no faith in humanity.
So working Roberto, what was it like?
Roberto had, cinematically, he had the film very much in his head before we filmed it. And what was nice was that he allowed myself and Eileen to really develop all those scenes that display our dysfunctional relationship. You know, really go for it, and you know, he very much put faith in us, which was nice. It's nice when a director does that, because, you know, I would go to him and say, you know, I think Roberto, you know, he's kind of fronting it out here, and he's blah blah blah, and I was throwing ideas at him, and he'd go, yes, do as you feel, Yeah. And he's basically saying, yeah, I trust you to give it a go. Yeah, and myself and Eileen, I think we did some really good stuff, I think. He said I was like my character because I think, you know, Eli has a certain jovial exterior, you know, which is, I suppose, his armor, you know, it's his outward personality. I think, you know, Roberto told me one of the reasons he cast me was because I was so cheerful. I went, I don't know how to take that. You know, Eli can't be like a shadow of negativity. I think he had to be charming, and you know, and then it's only subtly you see the pain that he's dealing with.